In the late 19th century, Florence Nightingale, the iconic aristocratic British nurse, uncovered a strange phenomenon in hospital wards. Patients on the sunny side had higher spirits and were more cheerful than those that were not exposed to sunlight. The lady with the lamp, as she was known, went on to suggest architectural plans for hospitals that were shallower, had larger windows, and abundant daylight. She believed, just from observation, that the light in a hospital environment played a significant role in patients' recovery. Since then, numerous studies have uncovered the healing powers of daylight and its impact on sleep, mood, and health. But what is the science behind it? And can we harness these benefits by implementing simple habits in our lives and strategies in our design? As humans, we evolved to spend the vast majority of our time outdoors. Our ancestors were hunter-gatherers who tracked game through forests, and later on, farmers who labored the fields. The days were dictated by the rising and setting of the sun. Today, the modern world has seen a dramatic shift indoors. With the industrial age, more work moved inside factories and offices, and the digital revolution cemented this indoor transition. Most jobs today involve sitting at a computer, and we move in climate-controlled environments from house to car to office, barely experiencing the outside. And we are feeling the consequences of this as a society. In 2014, a study by the University of Illinois explored the relationship between daylight exposure in the workplace and sleep. The researchers looked at two groups of office workers. One group had access to windows and daylight, and the other didn't. They then compared the length and the quality of their sleep. The workers in environments with windows slept on average 47 minutes more than the ones in environments without windows. They also reported better sleep quality. This is not very surprising when we look at the mechanism of sleep and its relationship to our circadian rhythm, which is our body's internal clock. In simple terms, circadian rhythms regulate sleep by controlling the production of sleep-promoting hormones like melatonin. The body's internal master clock, located in the brain, detects light and dark cycles through specialized photoreceptors in the eyes. Exposure to daylight during the day suppresses melatonin production, promoting wakefulness. And as it gets darker in the evening, melatonin levels rise, signaling sleepiness. So when we're not exposed enough to daylight during the day, for example, if we spend the whole day in a dark office, this mechanism is disrupted, leading to poor sleep. This is a devastating consequence of our poorly designed buildings. Poor sleep is associated with higher stress hormones, impaired levels of glucose, which might lead to type 2 diabetes, fatigue, and so many more. Matt Walker, the famous professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California in Berkeley, has an amazing TED Talk about the subject. I'll leave a link down below if you are curious to know more. The mere sight of sunlight seems to have therapeutic influences. Two Canadian studies have found that sunny hospital wards enhanced healing compared to non-sunny ones. Patients with severe depression had shorter hospital stays when they were in rooms that were sunny compared to people who were in rooms that weren't sunny. The extension of the Nanaimo Regional General Hospital in British Columbia in Canada is an example where daylighting took a central role in the design. The goal was to reduce caregiver and patient stress by providing daylight in all public and clinical areas. The staff respite courtyard lies in the gap between the existing hospital and the extension. The extension is set apart to preserve the existing windows and to provide daylight to staff work areas lining the inside of the L shape on both floors. The building has a narrow floor plate, allowing daylight to penetrate all areas through side lighting. Side daylighting is the most common form of daylighting and can be easily implemented by following the 4.5/9 meters rule of thumb. This means that to maximize daylight penetration into interior spaces, designers need to allow for a 4.5 meters or 15-foot perimeter zone depth for task daylighting, where sufficient daylight levels are achieved for tasks like reading or computer work, and an adjacent 4.5 meter zone with ambient daylighting, providing general illumination but not necessarily task lighting levels. The rationale is that daylighting levels diminish rapidly between 4.5 to 6 meters from a window, so limiting the floor depth to 9 meters allows effective daylighting to most of the floor plate. A light shelf added to a glazed opening will also reflect daylight deeper into a space and can increase the daylight depth to 2.5 times the height of the glazed opening. As humans, for thousands of years, we've aligned our designs with the sun, but this tendency seems to have decreased with the availability of artificial lighting. Historically, as a species, we've jumped on many technological advances without really considering their impact on our health and well-being long term. And this usually shows through trends and tendencies years after. The disconnect from nature in our buildings and lifestyles has had profound negative impacts on us. In an attempt to control the elements and the environment around us, we ended up forgetting the core of what we do as designers. We design for humans, for people, to promote their well-being. Unless this idea underpins our buildings and our development, the sustainability of our species will always be at risk. The video up here tells the story of 3 architects who are practicing this core value in their design. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.